Good afternoon and good morning, everyone, and welcome back to the Blind Press YouTube channel and CoffeeStream number 257. And it is Wednesday, of course, and that means Skep Talk is with me. Good day, sir. How are you?
I'm doing fine. How are you doing today?
I'm doing
You
all right.
you recovering from reading Stephen King?
I am. I have 22 hours of a 44-hour audiobook left to read. And I
Right.
am taking a break. I'm reading it.
44 hours of it.
Yes.
Holy crap. I just I don't do audiobooks for I just that's not the way I get my it just doesn't work for me. If I
Yeah.
have to listen to something, I will get distracted and I'll miss stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm just better reading it. But uh, 44 hours of it, jeez, that just would sink my soul. I mean, I
Oh,
tried to read that book and gave up on it. So
well, and I think one of the reasons why it's fucking with me, for lack of a better word, is the
yeah,
narrator is actually very good.
yes, and
The narrator is doing probably a better job narrating than Stephen King does writing, quite honestly. Um, if that makes any sense at all.
yeah,
Um, the narrator conveys the fear in the right places and the sorrow in the right places and the anger in the right place. Like it's adding to it, I think.
yeah, and it sculpts itself into kind of a feeling of believability of what is that called verisimilitude. It simulates reality too closely. It becomes
Yeah.
uncomfortable. And
Well, and
I know what you
it's
mean.
not it's it's not that I'm scared, right? Like, you hear someone say, "Oh, I'm taking a break from a Stephen King book," and you're like, "Oh, you're scared." No, it's not scary. It's just wrong. Is the That's the word that I'm going with. It's wrong.
Yes.
I'm probably going to end up doing a book review on it afterwards because I haven't quite put my finger on what's wrong yet.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm probably going to need to have to talk it out to figure out what it is that's really, really bothering me about this book as because I've never read a book that I've enjoyed but also gone
Yeah.
because I'm enjoying reading it, but I'm also going, this is wrong.
Yeah. It's dark. It's dark. And if you have a good soul, your soul will warn you that,
Yeah.
you're in a dark place and my soul is not having a good time. Soul likes happiness and goodness and wholesomeness. And uh, that's the opposite of what that book is, in my opinion. So, anyway,
Yeah.
um, I have just to change subjects slightly because I think we're in kind of a momentous time. I think we're about to see some interesting stuff happen
I would
in
agree with you.
the U.S. politics, and I have I wouldn't describe this as a rant, but I just have a few things I'd like to get out there if that would be okay.
Sure.
Um, I think we better get ready for President Warren. Here's
Yeah, it's looking more and more like that, unfortunately.
here's what's happening with respect to the Democratic nomination. Biden is slipping really fast, and it's
Yeah.
his hard and fast support that's leaving him.
Yeah.
And he had support of a lot of the black Democrats, and they are leaving him in droves and heading straight to Elizabeth Warren.
Mm-hmm.
No other Democrat should even be bothered to running. Kamala Harris, Buttigieg, any of those guys, Yang, it's just silly. They have no chance. Cory Booker, all those guys, they're done. DONE done. She is going to be the nominee. Almost, she would have to kick it. She would have to destroy her own chances to not be the nominee. She's irresistible at this point. The only thing that might throw her off would be if Hillary Clinton gets back in the race. And
Hillary can't be that stupid.
Well, she held a party at her home the other day. It was $50,000 a ticket. That's campaign war chest. She raised millions and millions of dollars. And if you don't declare yourself a candidate, you can do all of that you want and just keep the money, which she certainly would not be above doing.
No.
But the money is that she is about to declare her candidacy and is going to run hard because she still wants to be president, and she thinks that Trump can be knocked out. And here's what's happening with respect to Trump. America is having Trump fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
And Trump has made some good moves, and he's been very friendly to business. So the economy's doing great, but he's now beginning to show what a novice he is internationally.
Yes.
And he's getting led down the road by Erdogan in Turkey. Yeah. And he doesn't really know what he's doing.
That whole removal from Syria is...
Yeah, that's actually not a bad idea, but he's doing it for the wrong reason. And he's doing it, the redeploying of a few special forces people, which is basically what that is. Okay, it's not like it's not like we have 10,000 troops in there. We have a few hundred, and we're trying to protect them so they don't get nuked like they did in Lebanon.
That's a good idea.
In 1986 or whenever. So I approve of that. And if he'd couched it that way, that's what a good advisor would have told him to do. Is say, we don't want a repeat of what happened in Lebanon. We're redeploying these guys. End of statement. Fuck off. He should have said that, but instead he said, I've got a good friend. I'm a big shot with this guy in Turkey and blah, blah, and he strokes me and makes me feel good. And Erdogan knows how to play a guy like Trump like a fiddle.
Mm-hmm.
They go straight to his ego, make him feel important and all that stuff. And it's and Trump basically has gone in for that. So anyway, America is feeling some Trump fatigue. They're tired of the press just constantly lashing him. Eventually, that does have an effect. It's almost like eroding, a seashore, like a beach being eroded away. And you finally just get tired. You get irritated by the constant, you just want it to be gone. And something new and interesting and positive comes up. You might even entertain someone with as annoying a voice as Elizabeth Warren. And she does have you think
she really does. I've heard
you
her
hate
speak.
that voice. Oh, you hate that voice now. Wait till you have 4 years of that.
Oh.
So she, is looking like a very strong candidate right now. And in an interesting Politico poll, and that was taken yesterday, 50% of the people they polled, now they tend to poll more Democrats than Republicans, and I'll explain that how I know that that's true statistically in a minute. They said 50% support the impeachment inquiry, and 50% support the Senate removing Trump from office, and whereas about 43 to 44% opposed both the impeachment effort and removing Trump from office. So it's 50 to 44 remove. Interestingly enough, 84% of Democrats, 45% of independents, and 16% of Republicans support the impeachment inquiry. Well, so if 50% support the impeachment inquiry. If more support it than that, then that means they must have polled more Democrats than Republicans. That
No kidding.
they inadvertently proved that statistically. So, or suggest it so strongly, it's tantamount to proof. But at any rate, it still is a substantial. There is substantial support in the United States for removing Trump from office. I don't think it's 50%, but I'll bet it is 40 or 45%.
But why?
If you did an honest poll, pardon me.
Why impeach? Like, if they've got,
it's just a way to get him out of office. They don't by any means necessary. That's all that's going on here. They don't even. They would impeach him for for a completely disprovable charge of shoplifting.
But it's like literally 1 year. And if they have Trump fatigue, just vote him out.
Well, what they want to humiliate him. They want to hurt him. That's what this really is. This is about hurting him, about neutering Pence, neutering the Republicans, and getting ready to have a Democrat administration, get rid of these crippled Republicans who we had to impeach one of them. The other one is a creationist nutbag. Get these bastards out of here. Let's get a modern president in here who's going to do good for all the people and chicken in every pot. And, it's going to be Harry Truman all over again with Elizabeth Warren.
So the Democrats basically have no faith in running an actual election campaign.
No, because
so they're
the Russians will just put in another puppet Republican if we have elections. They can't rely on elections to put a good person in the White House unless a Democrat is elected somehow and they overcome the Russian effort.
But they're immune to Russian interference somehow?
No, they're not immune. That's the thing. But if they cripple the Republicans by impeaching Trump and make the Republicans look bad enough, they can overwhelm the Russian manipulation that doesn't exist, but exists in their mind. So I guess perception is reality.
I guess.
Yeah, it's the only thing Marx was right about. Perception is reality with these guys. So anyway, Trump is being accused of using his office for political purposes. The impeachment inquiry was launched after it was reported he may have asked Ukraine to investigate his political rival, Joe Biden, in exchange for U.S. military aid. Here's a few things about that. He never promised U.S. military aid. He never even implied it, other than having the conversation that he wanted them to look into Joe Biden's son. Okay. Mm-hmm. And
is that allowed though for him to ask? Like,
yeah, it is. It absolutely is. These kinds of conversations. Good Lord, people like Bill Clinton and Barack Obama had these kinds of conversations all the time. One time on an open mic, Obama was caught promising we'll have more flexibility after the election to Medvedev, the Russian premier. God. Yeah. My God. And nobody, with these Democrats who are hand-wringing that Trump would ask the Ukraine to investigate an obviously corrupt relationship with cokehead Biden, with Joe Biden's ne'er-do-well cokehead son getting $50,000 a month for sitting on the board and not doing a goddamn thing except fucking Ukrainian whores. Fuck you. Those guys are, they're the biggest hypocrites on earth. Not to say the Republicans wouldn't do exactly the same thing. The whole lot of them plague on both their houses.
Well, see, I'm just thinking this is still a Clinton revenge to the Republicans.
Yeah, it is.
You're going to impeach Bill? Fine. This is what we're going to do for you.
There's a paybacks are hell aspect to this. Yes, there is that aspect to this, but it's important to understand that's not a primary driving factor. Oh, bloody hell. This is home broadcasting right here. We're home broadcasting today, and there's someone at my door. God
I will
damn
cover
it.
for you.
Hang on, I'll be back. I'll be back in 2 seconds. Hang on.
No worries. So, yeah, I don't know much about because this is why I ask Skep these questions because I know something about American politics, but when it gets more in depth like this, that's when I'd start to get lost. So, oh, that's good coffee. Hush, I don't need that YouTube notification right now. Hello, Lindsay. Good to have you here. And Pink Hollow is here, and Costin is here, and Shady is here, and Mr. Dax is here, and Armskillif is here. Oh my goodness. I cannot stop yawning. Yes, if you guys could like and share the stream, that would be amazing. I've got a couple of articles after we finish talking about this. Actually, I've got an article to talk about the Domino's accessibility case. So that'll be interesting. And Pinkalo sent us a couple of articles too. So we will have a good amount of things to talk about. I couldn't get a clever title going today because my brain is just absolute mush earlier from reading it. Hello.
Sorry about that.
No worries.
You can be counted on, to have neighbor.
All right, honey, be careful.
We all of us are amateur farmers around here. We all have little victory gardens, and neighbor brings over a bunch of peppers and tomatoes. We're doing final harvesting now.
Yummy.
The weather's starting to turn, and so we have to have a little bit of sociability, even when I'm during.
You could make so much yummy stuff with fresh peppers and.
Yeah, just pico de gallo that is get some. We've got some onions that are ready to pull, so I have fresh onions, fresh tomatoes, and fresh habanero and jalapeno peppers. And
you could make your own freaking salsa.
Well, yeah, that's basically pico de gallo. That is our salsa. If I added tomato sauce to it, like just some regular commercial contadina tomato sauce with roasted garlic in it, you make a very acceptable dipping sauce with that. With the chopped up peppers and chopped up onions and a little bit of vinegar. Just wonderful with some salt. You can dip chips in that all day long. So yeah, some nice stuff. The only thing about it is I have about a 3-year supply of peppers. We overgrew peppers this year. The peppers just came in like crazy.
Can you preserve peppers somehow?
Yeah, you can. We could put them in jars. We could put them up, and we will give them away instead to friends. But because these things are hot. Like the jalapenos that we grow are much hotter than the jalapenos you get in a store.
My buddy,
these jalapenos will put you in the hospital. And
wow!
The habaneros are not edible. I mean, you can't eat one of our habaneros.
Can you use them? I was going to say, can you make sauce with them? Or
you can, but you got to get rid of the seeds.
Okay,
if you don't get rid of the guts, they're just too hot to eat. It's just unpleasant. and I mean unpleasant to the point where it will blister. You'll actually get blisters on the inside of your mouth. So,
Wow.
yeah, it's I don't know why they are like that, and I'm a connoisseur. I think of hot things. I've been eating hot things for 30 or 40 years and exploring all different kinds. I've even tasted a Reaper. I can't say I ate a Reaper, but I had enough of one, and our habaneros are on that level of discomfort. I mean,
Yeah.
just it burns, it damages the tissue. The tissue dies that it touches, and that's not good eating. So, yeah, we have to calm them down by taking the seeds out, and
I've got a
sometimes we
buddy.
even scrape the endothelium, the inner.
Oh wow! You
Yeah,
really got to take the guts out then, huh?
really have to,
Like a pumpkin almost.
Yeah, it's exactly like scraping a pumpkin, like a little tiny pumpkin. So anyway, how I do go on. So
My
that's what I
buddy's
got
got pepper that he grows up here. He does them. He starts them inside because it's so cold.
Yes.
Up here, he does them in seed trays.
Oh, he takes them from seed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
We buy seedlings.
He's grown Reapers and habaneros and jalapenos, and he's starting to make his own sauces.
Is he growing real Reapers?
Yeah, he's been finding a supplier online who's been mailing him.
Are they really North Carolina? I mean,
yeah.
Have you ever just like put the juice of one on your finger?
The sauce that he gave us he gave Pincalo because he knew that I would die.
It hurts your skin to put the juice on your skin.
I tasted the sauce he gave us, which he said had Reaper in it. And I drank I think it was 3 or 4 glasses of milk.
Yeah.
Before it would be less of a fire and more of a tingle.
Yeah.
It took a while for the tingle to go away.
Yeah.
It was bad.
You just have to be careful with that stuff.
Yeah.
Eating a North Carolina Reaper, when it touched my tongue, I literally had no sensation after the pain was gone. After about 45 minutes, and the pain started to lessen, I had no sensation on my tongue for like a week.
Wow.
I mean, it was those things. I don't see the attraction of eating them. And maybe I'm just not tough enough. I don't know. But I've had scorpions and Trinidad scorpions and ghosts, and I've grown ghosts. We didn't put any ghosts in this year, but the habaneros that we have, to me, feel as hot as the ghosts we grew last year.
Wow.
So yeah, they should be about 1/4 as hot, and they're not. They're really hot. Anyway. Yeah, I know how I do go on. So I don't know if it's a funny strain or, it could also be. I also, as you get older, I think your tolerance for that kind of stuff goes down. I know my gastric tolerance, you have to load up with antacids now. I did never have to do that if I'm going to eat hot stuff.
That happens a lot when you grow up. You can't eat hot stuff as much as you get older as you did when you were younger, and sweet stuff.
That's for real. That's for real.
Because I find even at 30 that I still like sweets, but
it's not like you were when you were 18.
Oh my God. My best friend and I, one sleepover, made a big pot of black tea so we could stay up all night. And we had no sugar. Because we were 10, but we had no sugar.
Yeah.
So we found some of my Halloween candy, my rockets and my shit like that I never ate because I hate rockets.
That dissolve.
So I Yeah, I had like fucking 40 of those Halloween-sized packets of rockets. And we were just crushing them up and
Put them in your tea.
putting them in our tea. And
because you do that.
or there was the time that I bought a full-size bag of Skittles and dissolved them in a 2-liter bottle of water and drank the water.
That's kind of fun.
Because I wanted to make rainbow water that I couldn't see.
Sure. Just because you're blind doesn't mean you can't make rainbow water.
If I did that today, I would puke.
Yeah, you would. It's sickening even just to hear the description.
Jesus Christ, your poor kidneys, says Mustafa.
Yeah, he's not wrong. Oh my God.
Taste the rainbow, says Mr. Dax. Yeah, no exactly. Shit.
Taste the rainbow.
That's actually what I said.
Very good.
I want to taste the rainbow.
And he's got a little emoji of a rainbow on the next line. Very good, Mr. Dax. Excellent job. Oh, hi, Irate. How you doing? I want to say hi to everybody in chat. Mr. Dax, Mustafa, Irate, Arms Killer's there. Lindsay is there. Costin, Shady is there. Shady!
Yes. Shady, hello.
Nice to see you, bud. Thanks for dropping by. Arms Killer, I think I said that. Ghost Dog is there. You know, we've got the hail, the gang's all here. Real fun to see Shady here. Love it.
He drops in occasionally.
Love it when he drops by. And by the way, I'll put you on the spot. Can you be on the show tonight?
Yeah, that would be cool. I can be on the show.
Excellent.
I hope Irate can be on the show.
Yeah, if he cares to be. Sometimes Irate is busy doing complicated Irate prostate things, but I would love to have him on this evening. Of course, he's he and I are watching Alabama and Auburn. He's an Alabama fan, and of course, my whole family went to Auburn. And my dad was a dean at the school, so we've got Auburn, going through. We've got blue and orange going through our veins, and but he's oh, fuck off, Irate. I'm not even gonna read that. Love you, brother, but fuck off. Really, seriously, do it today. Oh my God. We are just children. Roll Tide. All right, fair enough.
I've got a bit of a. So sorry.
No, go ahead. Go.
I've got a bit of a story. I don't know if you guys remember that I was talking about this a few months back, but there were a couple of blind people that were suing Domino's.
Domino's, the pizza company, or were they confused?
Correct.
Thought they could actually sue the little tiles.
The pizza company.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay. And the reason they were suing them was?
The reason they were suing them was because their ordering service, their website, that it is all taken through now, is inaccessible. And
so they can sue them for being inaccessible?
Well, the problem is that they tried to bring it to Domino's attention first.
Yeah.
And say, they tried to do what I would have done, right? They tried to contact Domino's and say, hey, just so you know, this website is not accessible for blind people. You may want to remedy that.
Yeah.
And then Domino's was like, no. And they were like,
did Domino's say no, or did Domino's say we'll look into it and then just never did anything?
Domino's said, no, it's too expensive, which is crap.
They said that in writing?
Yes, they did.
Okay, because the reason I'm asking that is, first of all, what would why would they commit that to writing? Because the only reason you put something in writing when you're a company like that is to document it. Okay. And usually something, so maybe they were documenting that to say, hey, we did look into this, we made a good faith effort, and we can't afford to do that.
And I don't think that's the thing, because I don't think that would be it would be a one-time code change that they would have to.
Well, it adds to the code base, and it adds to the. It actually is an ongoing thing because you have to maintain that code. Anytime you change the other code, you have to check that code to see if anything has changed. You have to verify it, and you have to retest it every time there's a change to the ordering interface. So it does add to the effort, but it's not a big add. I mean, having worked in a multinational at the top end of a multinational IT department, I can tell you probably how this went. There was at one of their routine meetings, somebody said, hey, we got an inquiry from somebody who's blind saying that our site is inaccessible for ordering. Can you look into this to see what it would take to make it accessible? And the IT guy probably said, that's going to be an expense we're not budgeted for. Do you want to budget it? And finance would say, well, take it out of your discretionary. Well, we got to have a meeting about that. And then it kind of gets lost in that kind of damping out, thing where we're looking into it. But then for them to come back and say, write a letter and say, this is too expensive for us. This is definitely too expensive for us to do. That to me says we looked into it and we don't want to add that code to our code base and maintain it going forward, because that's what that is. It's probably easy to do, probably would not involve a big change to their interfacing, and probably can be done out of an API kit. Okay, there's probably an API for blind accessibility. Here are all the blind accessibility tools that you can add to a user interface, and just slap these things in, parameterize them, and you're good to go. And it's probably pretty easy to isolate cost. This, if I were the IT manager, this is the way I'm thinking. And they came back and said, no, it costs too much. Why would they do that? That really seems like PR nightmare.
Well, and see,
fuck the blind people.
That'll
play.
It really got to be PR nightmare for them because it got all the way up to the Supreme Court.
What?
Yep. This story that I'm about to read you, the headline says,
the one I keep interrupting.
Supreme Court hands victory to blind man who sued Domino's over site access.
Oh my gosh. What did he get?
So the key points are, before the article starts, are the Supreme Court denied a petition from Pizza and Domino's, or from Pizza Giant Domino's on Monday. Let's see here. It says, to hear whether its website is required to be accessible to the disabled, leaving in place a lower court decision against the company. So a lower court already decided, no, Domino's, you need to change your site. And Domino's appealed that decision. And the Supreme Court has said no. So the second bullet point says, the Supreme Court denied a petition. Wait. Oh, there it is. The case was originally brought by a blind man named Guillermo Robles, who sued the pizza chain after he was unable to order food on Domino's website and mobile app, despite using screen reader software. And then it says the decision not to grant the case is a loss for the company and a win for disability advocates who have argued that if businesses do not have to maintain accessible sites, disabled people could be effectively shut out of substantial portions of the economy, which is true. Like, you guys have seen me try and operate fucking news sites. If it wouldn't show you guys personal information, I'd do videos where you guys saw me try and use like retail sites. They're fucking they're travesties, some of them. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. I'm looking at, is this Supreme Court of Canada or US Supreme Court?
No, this is US.
You're roboting really badly. Is that you or me?
That's probably me because my modem is going to shit.
Okay. Let me. I think.
I didn't robot on the watch page. Thank fuck. But
I'm just going to kill that. Can you hear me okay? Yeah, am I coming through okay? Can.
Yeah.
Okay, because I can hardly understand you. You're roboting so bad.
Weird.
But, yeah, that's very, very strange. Let me just read this. The U.S. Supreme Court's decision to not hear Domino's petition on whether its website is accessible to the disabled is considered a loss for the pizza giant and a win for disability advocates. Is that the same story that you have?
Pretty much. It's the headline that I've got says Supreme Court hands victory to blind man who sued Domino's over site accessibility.
Yeah, okay, that's what this one is. But what the Supreme Court decided not to hear Domino's petition. So Domino's petition was for relief from a lower court decision which went against Domino's. And the Supreme Court said, no, we're not going to review it. Yeah. So the Supreme Court didn't make a decision. They decided not to hear it. They said that the case doesn't have appeal merit. And so the order to not hear the case keeps in place a January ruling by the Ninth U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals, which is the most liberal court in the United States, which ruled that Domino's and other retailers must make its online services accessible. It also means the case is expected to go to trial. So what this really means is that the suit is going to go forward, and Domino's is going to say, no, you go ahead and you sue us. You go through the expense of suing us. Domino's is really being shitty about this, is what this really means.
Yes, it is.
Although Domino's is disappointed that the Supreme Court will not review the case, we look forward to presenting our case in trial court and fucking over our clientele, Domino's said in a statement posted on the website Monday. We also remain steadfast in our belief in the need for us to maximize all possible profit at the expense of our customers, and we laugh at blind people. Ha ha ha, like that. Said
no pizza for you.
Domino's. No pizza for you. Guillermo Robles, who is blind, claimed in U.S. District Court in California that the pizza maker violated the federal disability requirements because he couldn't order a pizza. Oh, he's doing this under the ADA, the Americans with Disabilities Act, because he couldn't order a pizza on his iPhone. The website didn't work with his screen reader software. Well, we know about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
In today's tech-savvy world, blind and visually impaired people have the ability to access websites and mobile applications using keyboards in conjunction with screen access software that vocalizes the visual information found on a computer screen or displays the content, and refreshable Braille display, the lawsuit argued. Yeah, Braille on your iPhone. I guess it's possible, right?
You can buy a Braille display and Bluetooth it either to your phone, your tablet, or your computer. And it's a secondary thing that you have that pops up the Braille cells to read.
Yep. Let's see. By the way, chat, can you tell us if Blind Press is roboting or if that's me getting robot from her.
Poppy said I skipped a little bit, but it's not bad. And I've got the watch page up and I'm coming through clearly.
Okay. And also, am I coming through clearly? Am I roboting? Please let me know. Okay. Lindsay says she can hear you just fine. Can you hear me just fine? Help us out. It just may be my my audio input. Okay, and Moonshot says they can hear me. So anyway, getting back to this, because I really do want to get this. This is a really interesting article. Let's see. Robles attorney Joe Manning said in a statement to CNBC Monday, and that's not Canadian NBC, that's CNBC, the station everybody's forgotten about in the United States. Monday, that the Supreme Court's decision was the right call on every level. Well, he would say that, right?
Yeah.
The blind visually impaired must have access to websites and apps to fully and equally participate in modern society, something nobody disputes. This outcome furthers that critical objective for them and is a credit to our society. Now, I have a feeling that Joe would say blind people should be given driver's license and should be able to drive cars just like everybody else because they're no different, right? But
yeah,
his statement was what I'm saying is his statement is too broad, it's too general, okay? And there are going to be some things that because of the nature of the disability of blindness, blind people are not going to be able to participate in. There's still many things they can do. That said, I think it's just as a shareholder in Domino's, if I were a shareholder in Domino's, and I'm not, but if I had shares of Domino's or I was in management or on the board of Domino's, I would say, who is responsible for this public clusterfuck that is going to cost us? Because, I'll tell you right now, I instantly, and I'm just one guy. I may have 18,000 followers on Twitter, but I'm just one guy. I'm done with Domino's. DONE, done with Domino's. They're pieces for shit anyway. But even so, I've got 4 hungry grandkids who pretty much could subsist only on pizza. They love pizza and they get it all the time. And sometimes they get Domino's. That stops today. That's instantaneous. Yeah. And I'm gonna be in their face about this because what a shithead. What other things are they doing wrong at that company? Do you really want to be eating that pizza?
No.
A company that can't, it's like being on a busy train track and saying, yeah, I'm going to set my tent up here. What, most of the time, nothing's happening. What could possibly go wrong? What a bunch of fucking idiots. They had a chance to be heroes. They could have spun this out into a press release about how heroically they're, blazing trails and accessibility so that everybody can enjoy their delicious pizza. They should have done that. That's what marketing is. That's what you're supposed to do. And no, they turned this into a clusterfuck that now has a Supreme Court. They're incurring the cost of a Supreme Court case on the basically what I can only say is misplaced pride, is misplaced hubris.
Yeah.
I'm stunned. It's like they're committing suicide. They're like going to Pizza Hut and saying, here, win the game. Here's the ball. I'm going to give you the ball. Win the game.
Well, and it's
fucking idiots.
It's like, why don't you want people's money? What's wrong with you? I don't understand this.
I truly don't understand this either. Hey, Blind, the roboting is so bad. I think it might be something with StreamYards. I'm gonna dip out and come back in.
No worries.
Okay, but look at me for when I show up. Okay, I'm just gonna leave the show and come right back in. I'll be in and out in 5 seconds. Okay.
Sounds good.
All right, leaving now.
Okay. So yeah, I've got Domino's is really being stupid. I'm the smart one because I work at Pizza Hut and I sent you a Domino Pay. Oh my goodness. And let's see if that is any better.
I'm back.
Is that any better?
Boy, that is tremendously better. That is what it was.
Oh, good.
I can hear you perfectly. Thank you. God, that was just irritating. I don't know what. Probably some cache data. Anyway, yes, thank God. I could not understand you.
Well, that was, I don't know what it is with StreamYard, but there have been...
They handle their own audio caching. I actually know what it is. And, and just was being really inefficient.
Oh, all right.
For whatever reason, the size of the cache buffer was reduced. And like so many things in life, size matters. So there you go. Anyway, yeah, how could Domino's fuck this up this badly?
I don't know.
This is like, you know.
Like, there are a few companies, like, if I had been smarter and less timid when I was younger, I could have sued a couple of companies myself.
Yeah.
Because I tried to apply for 2 different jobs at 2 different companies. And literally got told, for one company, I got told, we can't hire you because we work with people in the States and it would break the security protocols to install a screen reader on one of our computers. And I'm like, are you telling me that blind people in the States don't work and have screen readers installed on their computers? And they're like, oh, well, yeah, but those are different computers.
Those are different. Those are special computers. Those are blue computers.
And me being the timid 18-year-old kid I was like, okay, fine. And in my head going, I don't particularly want to work here now anyway.
Yeah. That actually probably worked your way for a different reason, but even so, yeah, that was pretty shitty.
And then
I just want to finish one thing that Domino said. Domino said in its statement, listen to this carefully. Domino said in its statement that a nationwide standard would, quote, eliminate the tsunami of website accessibility litigation that has been filed by plaintiffs' lawyers exploiting the absence of a standard for their own benefit.
Excuse me?
Yes, just take in the sheer presumption of that statement.
Fucking excuse me?
Holy shit.
Dude, Domino's, just file your Chapter 11 now.
I know. Eliminate the tsunami of website accessibility litigation that these plaintiffs' lawyers have had the nerve to file. They have the nerve to want to use your service. Can you believe that? They have the nerve to want to be our customers for their own benefit.
Those damn sightless bastards.
Those sightless customers.
Wanting to eat.
Yeah, wanting to eat and pay us massive profit margin.
Those pieces of shit, eyeless fucks. Why do they want to eat here?
Eyeless fucks. I do love your mind. Oh my. Oh. I have tears in my eyes. That was funny. Oh. Oh man. Yeah, I agree. Pig Houses, that was a Microsoft call center contract.
Yeah, actually no, that was the extra story that the next story that I was going to tell you is about the Microsoft contract.
Well, Do it. I've got to get Domino's out of my brain. But I'll tell you this right now that I'm done with them, and I'm gonna tweet a special message that's going to explain this because this just infuriates me. But please help me on my well.
So I went to work at Xbox in the call center because we had a call center for Xbox Live in town, and so they said, "Oh yeah, you're hired. Training starts on the next Monday. We're gonna go and talk to IT and get your screen reader installed, and we'll just make sure that you always get that computer. We'll call you and make sure that you know when to come in on the Monday for your training." So I'm like, yes, I have a job.
Okay.
So the call never came. And so I call them and they go, "Oh, IT says we can't install the screen reader on the computer because we can't guarantee." They said that you can't guarantee that you'll always get that desk or that computer. And I'm like, "But you, why?" And they're
What
like,
changed?
"Oh," and they're like, "Oh, well, that's just what IT said." Pink Hollow had friends who still work in IT. And he ran into one of them and asked, and they're like, he was like, "Nobody from HR ever talked to us about a blind person coming to work here. We would have had JAWS installed in 5 minutes."
Then sue the fuck out of them.
And of course, me being another, I was like, again, I think I was 19. And I was just so fucking discouraged, and because that's what happens when you try to be an advocate and an activist or for yourself for so long that sometimes you just, when you get kicked in the face, you're
stay
tired.
Down. Yeah.
You're tired. You're like,
down.
I'm done. I can't. I'll fucking live to fight another day. I'm gonna go put ice in my head and get my teeth fixed, and I'll be back. Like, and it's really,
it's discouraging though.
It is.
I understand that, and God damn it, it shouldn't be that way. That's not the way that's supposed to work. That's not the way that's supposed to work at all. That's very frustrating.
Is it something global, HR, etc., that thinks less of the IT department, says Mr. Tax? They always shit on IT, but they're the first ones to help. My computer isn't working, IT department. Help me.
Help me.
And then they go away and they go, "Stupid nerds."
Well, yeah, that's the truth. The worst place to be on the IT staff is working for a software company, because they all know the things that the IT staff knows. Mm. And so they all think that they can administer an IT shop much better than it gets done, because the programmers are gods. They're little gods at a software company. And the IT guys are looked down on because they're IT scum and not smart enough to be high-paid programmers. They're just IT guys. And they're not making as much money as the programmers. And the programmers all think they know so much more than the IT guys who actually have to make the stuff work. IT guys get pooped on quite a bit. They earn every penny they can. And after a while, I've been on both sides of that. I have been both the programmer at the software company, and I've been on the IT side of it at a software company also, and it's a crummy situation either way. So
Mr. Dax says, when everything is working, everything works. Why are we even paying you? When something is broken, this is broken. Why are we even paying you?
he's absolutely right. He's got it on the nose.
Yep.
You know, it's and Poppy also has a good point too. She says, you know, I'm only half blind, and when people find out they wouldn't hire me. Where one job I lied for a year, when they found out, they pushed me out. I don't doubt that, because people are scared by blindness. Yep. It bothers them. They think, what if I was blind? I would hate that. You know, it's they take their sight for granted, and then they feel guilty for taking their sight for granted, and they feel guilty being around that person. Then they say, well, I just don't want to be around those people, and that infects all. There are immature people all over the place who can't address those kinds of questions honestly, because they're just scared little rabbits hiding from shit, you know, in life. And that's not the only thing they hide from. They typically have, you know, other pathologies in their personality, but you'll find people like that, and it just speaks to your courage and Poppy's courage that you move on. You move past those people and just say, hey, that's one of the people in life who isn't good enough to treat with me. And that's really what it is, because they aren't good enough for you. They eliminate themselves from your life by pushing you out. You know, it's all relative. When they push you away from them, they don't realize it, but they're doing you a huge favor.
Yep.
You know, you may feel the loss of the job or whatever in the immediate moment, but long term, you're better not being around pathological personalities like that.
Exactly.
And you'll find good people to be around. You know.
When am I going to switch to a bucket of coffee, Duck Dog? When I wash the buckets.
That is how did you come by that profound mug that you have?
Walmart.
Okay, so you just said, I want a big ass cup of coffee.
Pincala was at Walmart with the kids one day, and he calls me up and he goes, there's a sale on some different and interesting mugs. And I think he got me 5 or 6 different ones. He goes, here, you can have a different mug for each day of your show.
That's a big ass cup of coffee.
He got me, and there's 2 of them.
Yeah.
One, they each have something different on them. One of them says, why am I even out of bed? And one of them said, I think one of them is a sarcasm one. I can't remember what it says. And then I have a cup with a giant monkey face on it that's tactile. And then I have a laughing emoji cup. And then I have a Homer Simpson donut cup, literally in the shape of a donut with clear windows where the hole is. There's like clear glass where the holes go.
Very good. That's perfect. Well done. I'm just reading through chat here. Let's see. Mr. Dax says, I worked in IT support for 9 years. It's thankless. Also, our unit was dysfunctional, so it didn't help. Yes. There's a lot of that in IT. And just people aren't perfect. It's just the way it is. Pop-Tart says, they actually had the teen boys mess with me till I quit. They would sneak up on my right side and do things. This is like lawsuit territory to me, but
I've had people sneak up on me at school before when I was a kid. Well, try to, and go, boo!
Jesus.
And I'd be like, yeah, I heard you coming.
Yeah. Why don't you go out to the highway and suck dicks and sell pencils till you get your self-respect back?
Yeah.
Let's see. I'll never make fun of your cup line press. I drink coffee by the pot. not Cup. That's Zombie Teddy with that insight. Anyway, that's Duck Dog kind of summed it up earlier. He said they abuse what little power they have. Absolutely.
Yep. And
how true is that of how many situations that we see again and again and again? If Elizabeth Warren is elected president of the United States, don't you think she'll abuse her power just a little bit?
Oh, yeah.
What's going to happen the first day when she issues an executive order to pick up every AR-15 that's privately owned in the United States?
I'm almost afraid to think of what will happen if
there's going to be a lot of good people get arrested, and there'll probably be some people get killed. There'll be other places where they just won't enforce that, like the Midlothian Police Department, or the sheriff of Ellis County. If they got an order like that, they'd say, yeah, we'll put it on the stack and we'll see if we can get to it. We'll review it in about 7 or 8 years.
Well, what is it that Sinatra keeps saying? If these gun laws pass, all these wonderfully legal legal guns, the citizens are just going to be losing their guns in terrible boating accidents.
There were going to be a lot of boating accidents.
I went fishing and my gun just fell out of my boat. I'm sorry, I can't turn it in. It's at the bottom of a lake somewhere.
But what they will do is they will basically abrogate the Fourth Amendment and say, okay, we're going to have warrantless searches of your home. If you've got a gun in here, you go to jail for 10 years or 5 years. You basically lose your life. If you've got...
Uh-oh. Did my stream just... No, it did not. What happened to Mr. Skep? Is he here? Yes, he is. Skep, I think you muted yourself. Yeah, Skep, you've either muted yourself or your internet has gone kuflunk. I only wish I could own a weapon for self-defense, and morons in the U.S. want to revoke their rights to self-defense, yeah. Dog barking, I don't think it was dog barking, though, because he was in the middle of a sentence. There he is. There you are. Did your internet crash?
No, StreamYard kicked me out.
Really?
Yeah, somebody kicked me out forcibly. It was not a keystroke on my part at all.
Weird, because I wasn't even on the StreamYard tab.
Yeah, something nuked in StreamYard.
I was pulling up a different news story. I was on Twitter tab, and then you were talking, and all of a sudden you weren't talking, and then I jumped back over to the StreamYard tab, and I could still see you and everything.
Yeah, I'm looking at so I keep a trace running, and it came in on a TCP/IP packet stream.
Weird.
So it came from some server someplace else, presumably from it. Probably was an incorrect command from your computer to nuke me. Yep. It definitely wasn't. It was external. It was external. That's all I can really tell is that it came through my router.
Moonshock says StreamYard must be being invaded by YouTube censorship.
Yeah. Irate Prostate says StreamYard is spoopy. It can be sometimes. Kick Skep. Fuck off, Mr. Dax. Don't kick Skep. Don't kick poor Skep. StreamYard spoopy. It can be. It can be really good, but it's a lightweight streaming thing that occasionally shows that it's not real robust. It's not nearly as robust as OBS when it's working is a better situation. It's has more fail safes and stuff like that. I say that as somebody who has streamed really quite a bit with StreamYard, enough to where me being kicked out is not too remarkable, a thing. It just happens periodically. It just some buffer probably got full, couldn't figure out what to do, and so it says, well, I'm going to nuke the process, and that's probably how I got kicked out. I don't know what did, but something did. Anyway, but I'm back and festering.
I wonder if OBS will be more stable now, because I had a software update on my Mac yesterday, so Pincalo is going to have to go and check if the settings are still good, but
yeah, it either will or it won't.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or it'll be the same. Hope that was helpful. Who do I invoice for that advice? Anyway, but in other news, what do you think about Brexit really going to happen without a deal on the 31st?
I think so.
You're in favor of it, right?
Of course. I just don't think it's going to happen.
What's going to stop it?
I think they're going to figure out a way to hamstring Boris Johnson.
Who? But who is going to do that? I can't figure out who can stop him.
Well, that's
the only one who can stop him is him.
That's true. And hopefully he keeps going on ahead with what he wants to do.
I hope so too. I really think that this is the beginning of an answer for these guys. I mean, I hate to see England becoming not England, and it's really not England anymore. So
it's true. I would really like Britain to go back to, and that's not to say that, people from other countries shouldn't go live in Britain, but they shouldn't be trying to change Britain to become a place that supposedly they were trying to escape.
Well, see, and that's a thing that I also don't understand is these guys say, we left Iran and Iraq because of the oppressive government, and that's why we want to institute that kind of government right here, right now. Yeah. What? Run that went by a little fast, guys.
Yeah, I don't get that.
If you really don't like the, divine paradise of a place like Iran, why are you trying to create one here? It just doesn't make any sense to me. So, I really think that getting out of the EU will be the beginning of an answer for Britain if they have the courage to pursue it. They haven't shown me a lot of courage for a while, quite honestly.
And say what you will about the British, but they used to have a good deal of courage.
Yes, they did. And they showed it on a number of occasions. Now it's heartbreaking to see what that country has become, a bunch of simpering, slimy, whining social justice warriors and communists and other less savory creatures.
Yeah.
And anyway, so here's hoping. I really do think that they might actually make a break. I'm actually pretty optimistic that they are going to successfully break with the EU. And in doing that, it's going to be a little bit of a wake-up call to the EU, I think. And it also will be a little bit of a wake-up call to Scotland, I hope. And
you can only hope.
yeah, how can Scotland produce beautiful human beings like Tailed Feature and be run by Nicola Sturgeon? How somebody explain to me how that happens.
The same way it can produce amazing people and still have it be controlled by the Bruces.
Yeah.
Who sold themselves to England for nothing?
Yeah, for 30 pieces of silver. They just are, they're shit when it comes to ruling themselves. They're brilliant artists and engineers and writers and poets. And then when it gets to the political part of running their government, they're for shit. It's been that way since the days of the lairds. And it's not any better now. You fucking communist Nicola Sturgeon.
This is coming from someone who is a creative personality. We suck at analytical decision making.
Evidently.
And that's what you need to govern yourself, is analytical decision making.
So you're saying this is your fault?
I'm saying that
you're taking this on.
Creative people should not be in charge of things.
Of things.
Okay. Like important things.
Yeah.
Just like let them be the ones to make the country nice and give them culture.
So leave them alone in their writer's garret and in their engineering laboratory or in their acting studio, and leave the running of the country to Americans? We're not that much better.
No, you're not that much better, but at least some of you have the capability of analysis.
I mean, supposedly our strong suit is Trump. Really? Trump is the best we can do, honestly. Holy shit. So anyway, it's a funny world. We live in strange and interesting times.
Speaking of strange and interesting times,
yes.
Here's a story that will make us all say, "Yeah, I don't believe you." So, do you remember
stuff that never happened?
Well, yeah. Well, I think so. Pincolo and I think so.
Okay, let's hear it.
So, do you remember the video? It was like a 30-second video clip that I played on one of my streams last week. It was in Hamilton, Ontario. There was a protest going on about one of the political party leaders that was doing a speech. And there was a bunch of people screaming, "Nazi scum off our streets!"
Yes, I do remember that.
Well, apparently, there was a relative in that protest of a family who owns a Syrian-style restaurant in Toronto. And this family apparently has been receiving death threats because their relative was at this protest in Hamilton. So they are now closing their restaurant that they've had open for almost 3 years and has been very successful.
Is this legitimate?
They're claiming it's legitimate, but Pincolo and I are going,
yeah,
right.
That didn't happen. That sounds pretty hinky to me.
So this article begins: a Toronto Syrian restaurant called Sophis, I believe it's pronounced. Okay. It closed after getting death threats stemming from a relative who was involved in a protest of People's Party of Canada leader Maxime Bernier in Hamilton last month. So, a Syrian family says it is shutting down its Toronto restaurant after receiving death threats a week after a relative was involved at a Maxime Bernier speaking event in Hamilton, where a senior was blocked from entering. And you all shouted Nazi scum off our streets in her face and almost tripped her to fucking down. Oh, hold on a second. What's up? But you're not on speakerphone, though. Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, it's Skep. If you go to... If you find Pincalo's Twitter page, he retweeted a thread from Andy No, and he got into a bit of an argument with somebody about this whole thing. He actually got blocked and called an Antifa sympathizer, or defender. Sorry. So, but yeah, I'm gonna keep reading the story now. So it says the El-Safi family, owners of Safis on Queen Street, near Tecumseh Street. Okay, I know where that is. Said Tuesday they are heartbroken about the decision. So within a week of this protest, because it happened last Saturday, I believe. And so within a week, this family in a completely different city has been getting death threats because one of their relatives was at this protest, and within a week they're going to close down their hard-earned restaurant. It gets better.
Okay, keep going.
So it says, however, we could not put our family members, staff, and patrons in danger, they said in a statement. The magnitude of hate we are facing is overwhelming. The family also released some of the racist and vile messages they have received. Going back a box, read part of one message. Going back where? To Syria?
Okay. That's not extreme or anything.
So it says, keep it up or your family and those who defend your family's terrorist actions will suffer immensely, reads another. Other messages in posts provided by the family depict extreme acts of violence against them. And then there's an Instagram. Let's see if they actually have... No, there's no text for the... Okay. Toronto police confirmed Tuesday that El-Safis... not the El-Safis. Toronto police confirmed on Tuesday that Safis owners notified them about threats made against them and their business October 2nd. So October 2nd, this started happening, and yesterday they decided to they called the police and closed their business.
Wow, that was a long time to be brave.
A whole, 6 days?
That's really giving it time to blow over. It's not like they were trying to get publicity or anything, right?
Like, if it's... Like, nobody should be threatening people, whether they're on the right or the left. But really, you're going to close your restaurant after 6 days?
Yeah. I wonder how the restaurant was doing financially.
That's what I said. That's what Pincalo and I both said. I was like, okay, who's actually needing to declare bankruptcy here?
Exactly.
Like, what is really going on here?
Yeah, Costin says, how unfortunate if it is true. Threats of violence are unacceptable. I hear you. That said, I'm X'd out. I'm with Zombie Teddy and Arva, and Lindsay. This just sounds like bullshit to me.
And the threats are clumsy. Like the things that they're saying they've gotten, they're clumsy. You know what I mean? Like they don't sound like something that and it's not just because it's not something I would say. It doesn't sound natural. Like you can tell when somebody racist is saying something they mean. Right?
Yeah.
But this just sounds like words.
I'm trying to find the stuff in Pink Hallows. I'm in his Twitter right now.
Okay.
He says, I eat at way too many Mideast establishments that have prospered for years without incident. What is it that makes this one, so special? He's not wrong.
No.
I hear you. Now I see. So because a relative of the family was at a protest, a bunch of randos on Facebook started sending, quote, death threats, end quote, to a family restaurant not even in the same city. And that has forced them to close their doors, question mark. Pink Howell that's perfectly put, the way he put it right there. That's so because a relative, in caps, I love it, Pink Howell, of the family was at a protest, a bunch of randos on Facebook started sending, quote, death threats, which we haven't seen, right, to a family restaurant, not even in the same city. And that is from, even if they, sorry about that.
It's all good.
Why the dogs are barking. They can't help it. You know what? I'm going to have to figure out what this is. I'll be right back.
No worries.
I'm sorry.
No worries. You what? Oh, it was son of the... Oh, okay. So it says the restaurant ended up embroiled in controversy after the owner's son, the family says, was involved in the protest outside the appearance by Bernier, the leader of the People's Party of Canada, on September 29th. Some protesters attempted to prevent people from entering the building in one video.
About that.
Just loudly. Oh, okay. No worries.
Not another word. God damn it.
They're like, fuck you, Dad.
I know. It's like, we're going to do what we want to do. There are other humans on this earth. We're going to bark. Sorry.
You're like, not another word. They're like, fuck off, Dad. That sounds like Ninja and Pincalo.
No more hamburgers for you.
Ninja will just go meow, and Pincalo will be like, shut up. And he'll be like, meow.
We have a guest dog who's staying with us while my stepdaughter is moving. We've got her dog, and that has caused an extra level of
barkitude.
Barkitude. That's perfect. Barkage. Anyway, barkery. It's the barking has been epic. I'm so sorry. Please continue.
No worries. So apparently this, quote, relative was actually the son of the owners.
Yes.
And apparently he was one of the people, he was one of the 3 people that was actually blocking this senior citizen from entering the building. So some people very well may have said some nasty things.
Some people did some things.
Because, Well, some people may have said some pretty shitty things to these people.
Yeah.
Because this lady very nearly got knocked the fuck over. And she probably would have gotten at least stepped on a couple times had she been knocked over.
Yes.
And so, and that doesn't make it okay. Like, whether you're a lefty or a righty, you shouldn't be threatening people. But for this family to then go and play victim after 6 days
suggests an additional agenda.
Yeah.
That's just sounds like bullshit to me. You know, if it smells like bullshit, looks like bullshit, molds into cakes like bullshit,
Yeah.
it's likely bullshit. It's, you know, the world's on its head. There's nothing you can do. Just try and live your life, have a little bit of fun. I hope you die before the shit gets real.
That's very true.
Yeah. You can't avoid this stuff. It's I was going to tell you something else that I've been doing. I've been getting into this is a complete change of topic here. Are you up for that?
Yeah.
I've been getting into the global, the climatology, the global warming, climate change stuff in a really just spurging out on it, really getting into the in-depth physics, climatology, even the geology of climate change and what has been responsible for climate change previously and what climate cycles have looked like. And it really changes your point of view to get a little bit of historical backdrop for what we're going through right now. I come away with a few conclusions based on what I've seen. First of all, that we are in a geological instant of time and we're not capable of deriving any kind of a long-term trend about climate based on what we're able to take measures of. You know, one of the things that you hear the climatologists say is that we've taken over 1 billion measurements. So what? 1 billion measurements over 100 years? And so we know for sure what's going on with climate. No, it just seems like a long time to you. You know what a long time is for climate? A long time is 10 million years. That's a moderately long time. That's like we would think of as a week. That is 10 million years. 100 million years is something, yeah, you can get some trends off of that. You can't get it off of 100 years. That's less than 1/100th of 1% of a significant enough period of time to derive any kind of a trend line from. I'm just speaking in raw statistics right here. So that's the first thing that you notice. The second thing is that the Earth has really been through some climatological extremes without man doing anything. We've been an ice ball, a complete frozen over ice ball. We have been extremely oxygen rich. We've had like 2 or 3 times as much oxygen in our atmosphere as we currently have now. We've had 20 times the amount of CO2 that we've had in our atmosphere right now. And that's where you start to get the runaway greenhouse effect. That happened for a while. And you have a lot of natural processes that absolutely dwarf anything that we could do. And I walked away from it. I walked away from my, 3-day spurgathon into, all things climatological with the feeling that what we ought to really be concerned about is first and foremost clean water. That's our biggest problem. Our biggest problem is making sure enough humans have enough clean water.
Yeah.
And there are people who are drinking garbage water with tremendous levels of pathogens in it. And the only reason they do that is because the alternative is dying of thirst.
Yep.
How lovely is that?
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll only take 3 days?
Yeah, exactly. It's an easy out. So you have that kind of heartbreaking situation, and that, to me, that's what we ought to go to India and China and say, look, God damn it, start doing something about the way you're polluting the water table of the world.
Yeah.
And especially, particularly India. India is just doing some unforgivable things, and the Indians are just like, hey, let the good times roll, man.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. So, yeah, and then secondarily, the next thing is air pollution, not for purposes of climatology, but for purposes of just stop putting poisons into the atmosphere. You don't have to do this. Okay, you don't have to.
You do realize there are places on this planet where children don't have to go outside to play with masks on, right, China?
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's the truth. And there are places in China where you wouldn't send a kid outside without a mask on.
Yep.
Yet parents do. The poor do. I mean, it is just epic Darwinistic selection of the people who have money. The people who can, kids go out with rags tied around their faces because they can't afford masks.
Mm.
Or they fish masks out of wastebaskets, out of
Oh,
trash
that's amazing.
cans. Yeah, think about that for a minute.
But communism is great, y'all.
It's a worker's paradise. So, and that's what AOC wants. That's what Rashida Tlaib wants. That's what Ilhan Omar wants. That's what Ringo, whose name I can never remember, the fourth member of the squad. That's what she.
Tlaib?
No,
No.
Arshid Tlaib, the black woman from Georgia or whatever.
Oh, her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can never remember her name either.
Hates Whitey. She that's what they want. They want the government to basically enforce top-down rights to you are given rights as reward by the state.
Yeah.
As opposed to natively having them just by being a citizen, and the state is charged with protecting them. It's a huge change in point of view. And it's part of that. If I can just be in charge, everything will be all right because I'll make all the right decisions. And that kind of power corrupts so quickly.
Yeah.
You very quickly get you either get a communist state type thing, and that's almost the best case scenario. Worst case, you get a French Revolution.
Yeah.
And the blood's in the street. Or you get a Pol Pot type situation, which was basically a French Revolution writ large. A French Revolution where they said, I'm really going to efficiently get rid of everybody who wears glasses.
Mm-hmm.
And, everybody who can think, everybody with a brain. And I just want simple farmers everywhere. That was Pol Pot's psychosis. And that's the psychosis of a person like AOC, who doesn't really have much of an understanding about the way the world works. Her understanding about reality, about the way things actually function, about what makes modern society work, is about as informed as her understanding of the Palestinian situation. You remember when she got up there and said, well, I'm not really an expert on Palestine. I don't really know, I don't even know where it is. I couldn't find it on a map. That's the truth. She if and this is true of a lot of people, they have these deep-seated opinions, and you say, can you find Syria on a map? Yeah, here's a map that has unlabeled countries, doesn't even have the boundaries up there. Can you just roughly outline where Syria is? Most people can't tell you that.
Yep.
Most people if you said what countries border Syria, they wouldn't say, well, Turkey, Lebanon, Iran, Russia, or Iraq, Russia. They wouldn't have that information at their command. They just, well, I have to look on a map. They don't know shit from Shinola about it. Most of them don't even understand what's actually going on in Syria. They haven't taken the 20 or 30 minutes that it would take of reading the quality information about what's actually going on. They won't invest that time. We live in a society filled with people who have been told what to think instead of being taught how to think.
Yep.
They don't reason for themselves. And I think that's the thing that bothers me more than anything. The society is full of people like AOC who have been told what to think, and their vote counts just as much as mine does.
And that's terrifying.
Terrifies me. So, I don't know what to tell you. I sound like a prophet of gloom and doom. I need my sandwich board. The world's at an end. The end of the world is nigh. And walking around, with my hourglass and scythe, proclaiming the end of the world. It's
okay.
It's not that it's the end of the world. It's just that we're facing some very hard grown-up type situations, and we don't have good quality thinking grown-ups in charge to face those situations.
Yeah.
We have overgrown babies like Rashida Tlaib, or hate bags like Ilhan Omar, or officious busybody, know-it-alls like Elizabeth Warren and AOC, who just they believe they confuse tyranny with leadership.
Yep. They're like those girls on the playground that think that they're taking charge, but they're bossing the shit out of everybody, and they're like, everyone else is going, oh my god, shut up, go away.
Exactly. There's no give in them. There's no tolerance. There's no understanding. There's no willingness to take a look at the other side of the coin. I mean, if you talk with me about whether or not, what the difference is between liberty and tyranny, what the difference is between economic conservatism and economic liberalism, what an isolationist foreign policy looks like with respect to, as opposed to a interventionist foreign policy, I can talk to you about both sides of all of those questions because I've taken the time to examine the points of view and weigh each one and tell you how I come down on that. It's a function of looking at things and using Aristotelian principles of analysis. Aristotle got it right. It's first principles. Mm-hmm. What is the nature of something? What does it do? What is it really? What does it do? And whether you're talking about abortion and saying, what is abortion really? Well, if somebody says, well, it's medical care for a woman, that's avoiding the question of what abortion is.
Yeah.
Abortion is cutting a baby up with scissors. And you have to decide if you've got a good enough reason to cut a baby up with scissors. And you also have to decide whether or not cutting a baby up with scissors, when it's really, really tiny, when it's just a little bunch of cells, is the same as cutting a regular sized baby up with scissors. I mean, there's a lot of hard questions to discuss there. And, you got to talk about the risk to the woman and what it means for a woman to give up just a year of her life, a year in the prime of her life. That's a legitimate thing to talk about, to weigh into the equation. But everybody, no, they're firewalled. You're killing babies. It's the same as blowing your Aunt Susie's head off with a pistol. That's the pro-life extremism, and then the pro-choice extremism. No, it's just medical care. It's the same as snipping off a hangnail. No, you're both wrong. You're both wrong. It doesn't work that way. That isn't the way it works at all.
Nope.
And if people would take the time to use those principles of, what is its nature? What does it do? If they just be honest and discuss it. And the other thing that's instructive is to take the point of view that's different from the side you landed on, and walk in those shoes, be that person, and try and do it legitimately. Try and really make the effort to understand what convinces those people. That's when you can really become confident in your point of view, and confident in your arguments. And it also makes you better able to argue your point of view with the other side. And the other thing is that if you have someone honest on the other side, they will listen to you.
Yes.
And they'll argue back honestly. The example I always give is, one of my favorite Twitter opponents is somebody whose comradeship, I don't know if it's friendship, but it's comradeship, as an arguer I respect, is the ranting feminist. She will always engage you honestly. She does not go low. She doesn't go for the cheap shot. And she will try and see it from your point of view. I respect that so much. And
I've heard good things about her.
Talking to her is different than talking to almost any other feminist, simply because she's sane. She's sane, and she's constructive about wanting to understand what the dynamics of the argument are. What everybody's points really legitimately are. It's not just about crushing the opponent, and doing a gotcha, with a spicy meme. Now she doesn't suffer fools gladly when she gets. I've actually found myself on her side against people who technically agree with my point of view on a problem because they're being dishonest with her.
Right.
And I will fucking take them down in a minute. Yeah, saying, hey, she's making an effort to, argue honestly. That sort of thing needs to be preserved. So anyway, nice, boring, moralistic lecture from Skep Talk this morning. Can we please talk about something interesting, please?
Well, I was gonna say we've actually reached the end of. We've gone overtime. We've hit.
Oh my gosh! It's 12:45. I didn't even notice that.
Neither did I until just now.
That's what happens when you let an old fool start ranting like that. I don't know when to stop. So, thank you for having me on. This has been a great little time. Do we want to just run through chat very quickly?
Yes. My phone just died. So
I'll read out some chat here. Let's see. I'm going to go back just a little bit here. Pancalo says, "May I wrote about the relative until I let her sound on it was a son."
Oh, don't worry about it.
Okay,
it was his dictation.
Damn ankle biters. Okay.
The dogs.
Yeah, one of the three yelling at the old couple was the son.
Yeah.
Okay. You need to look at the Andino tweets, please. They show a much bigger story.
I couldn't find them, and I went back and looked in his profile.
Yeah.
And I couldn't find them either. Okay. Sometimes it's really weird. Twitter takes
they make it
most
invisible.
of what he says and fucking hides it.
Yes, it happens to me too. And just got to call him on that. Irate prostate properly says clown world. He's right.
Yep.
And Mr. Dax, I love the idealism in our chat. Has anyone started a fundraiser to support the restaurant? I love you, Mr. Dax.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was
perfect.
A thing.
That's really perfect. Let's see. in Kathy Newman's voice, Mr. Dax says, in Kathy Newman's voice. So what you were saying is that you hate the autistic child? Yes, exactly. Pop-Tart says, yeah, to me, adoption is the only other option, but I can't say everyone should do that because it is really hard to do. Yeah. We've just, we've gone through the adoption situation. Adopted 3 grandchildren here recently. I know what you're saying. Watched my stepdaughter go through that. She's a nurse practitioner, makes a lot of money, and she's effectively a doctor and everything but name. She can write prescriptions, everything else, and she's an amazing person to want to adopt people. Of course, the adoption agency just jumped at the possibility, and it was still a pain in the ass just to get those 3 kids placed. And the idea was to they're 3 siblings, and the idea was to even though both parents are lost to drugs, that we could at least keep the 3 children together.
Yes.
And that was a pain in the ass for her to go through. So Pop-Tart, you are absolutely correct. It is really hard to do.
My dad and his ex-wife did that. They fostered with intent to adopt.
Yes.
And they ended up adopting 2 siblings. So they have 2 biological children who are not, like, they adopted them, but they're biologically brother and sister.
That's what we have. We have the 2 blood grandchildren, and then they have 3 adopted siblings, and those 3 siblings are full brother and sister. Well, that's not true. The 2 sisters are full sisters, and then it's their half brother.
I gotcha.
Because mom was a professional, if you know what I'm saying.
I see.
And Pop-Tart was saying, she said, well, I meant the other way, giving the child to someone. Yes, that also is hard.
That's really hard, yeah.
Although in this particular case, it was more, I have kids? I didn't even remember. So
is that why I got so big?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, that was fucked up.
I have more crack now.
Boy, and it's with the mother, that's exactly the way it is. Anyway, sorry, but that's just the truth. Instead of abortion, because you were speaking of abortion, yes, that's a hard thing to ask a mother to, take the child to term and then have the baby and then give it up. That's a big difference between that and going down to a clinic, sitting through, a procedure that for you is, results in a heavier than average period, basically, and unbeknownst to you, a dead spot on your uterus.
Mm-hmm.
But and then you're just done with it. Problem solved. It's problem solved, but for a life, it's been snuffed out. So I hear you, Poppy. Anyway, that's the end of chat, and I guess that's the end of Wednesday.
It is, however, chat. If you are still around tonight and looking for something to watch at 11:30 Eastern, 10:30 Central, and you have not gotten enough of Skep and Blind, you can go to and you're not dead yet. You can go to Minions of the Zoo, where Skep will be hosting and I will be guesting.
Yay! And maybe Irate Prostate will be there too.
Yes, and maybe Irate will be there, and hopefully Prospero and all the usual.
Prospero's going to be there. I confirmed with her this morning. So Prospero, awesome. Blind Press will be there. We're hoping for Irate Prostate, and who knows? And actually, I'm going to tell you about this off camera. I got a positive response to come on and stream from a somewhat big name.
Ooh.
And it won't be tonight, but it probably will be either next week or the week after that on Wednesday. I'm going to have her on with me, and it'll be cool. So
nice.
Anyways, a somewhat big time YouTuber and film at 11. So anyway, everybody have a wonderful Wednesday. Thank you for joining us. Thanks for having me on Blinds.
No worries. And, I hope you enjoyed yourself.
Have fun tonight. Oh, I always will.
We will. And I don't know who my guest will be Friday just yet, but keep an ear out. And Star Trek on Saturday, we are going to the cottage. We have decided. So we have another week to watch Irate's picks, which he told me. And I'm going to let you guys know so you guys can watch them. Well, so Skep can watch them. They are Darmok, Time
Okay.
Arrow.
Hold on. You're gonna have to say them again. What? Darmok?
Darmok, Times Arrow,
Time Zero.
and Schisms.
Oh, Schisms. Yeah.
So Times Arrow is 26 and 26 of season 5 and 1 of season 6. And Darmok is episode 2 of season 5, I think. Pretty sure. And then Schisms is episode 5 of season 6.
6-5. And what did you say Darmok was?
Darmok, I believe, is 5-2 or 5-3.
Okay. That's good. These are Irate Prostate's picks.
Those are Irate's picks, yeah.
And come and join us because that is just getting to be more and more fun every week, don't you agree?
It is. I definitely agree. And it'll be, I think 5 o'clock seems to be a better time.
Yes.
Because we're not streaming against Bloodwing.
Yes.
Everybody has more chance to get their chores finished. All that fun stuff. So it won't be this Saturday, but it will be next Saturday at 5 p.m.
Saturday.
And it'll be lots of fun. So with that, guys, I hope you had a great time. Have a great rest of your Wednesday, and I'll see Skep and hopefully some of you tonight on Minions. Have a great day, everybody.
Bye, everybody.